Hey, what's up guys? Alright, so this chapter opens up with Asta rushing in for an attack, and one thing I want to mention in the beginning of the video that we have to keep in mind for the entirety of this chapter is that the entire fight sequence in this chapter takes place over the span of 5 seconds, because Asta only has 5 seconds left on his Devil Union. Now, the reason why I mention that is because, realistically speaking, the things that happened in this chapter would have taken longer than 5 seconds to take place, so we really have some Dragon Ball Super timeline logic going on right here. And I'm not saying that it's anywhere near that bad, but I'm just saying that it would have taken a lot longer than 5 seconds to do everything that happens in this chapter. Anyway, while Asta's rushing in, we have Lucifer lifting up the ground beneath him using his gravity magic and trying to knock Asta off balance, which he actually does manage to knock Asta off his feet. He lands on the side, and then just as he's getting back up, Lucifer rushes at him and actually throws a punch straight into his chest. And then this is when we begin the new flashback between Lucida and Leave, where she's telling him about Asta. And even though I do like the fact that Tabata was going back and forth between the flashback and the present day fight in the chapter, and some of the parts of the fight actually corresponded with parts of the flashback, I'm just going to talk about the entire flashback right now, just so I can talk about the fight for the rest of the video, just because I feel like it'll be a lot easier to do the review that way. Anyway, during the flashback, we have Lucida telling Leave, while they're kind of like sitting on a wall and I guess watching the sunset or something. But she's telling him about the fact that, confirming that Asta is in fact her son. And she's telling him, she had a son before he would be about to leave the age at this point. And, she loved him very much, but because of the fact that her curse would be slowly killing him, she decided to give him up. And even though she doesn't have him anymore, even though she's never going to be able to be a part of his life going forward, she says that no matter what, she will still always love him. And I wanted to talk about this first before I talk about the rest of the fight, not only because it would be a lot easier to focus mostly on the fight for the rest of the video, but also because of the fact that this flashback, in my opinion, confirms that Asta is now 100% aware that Lucida is his mother. Because we already saw back in chapter 326 that Asta saw all of Leave's memories. Now, we only got to see the ones that we were already privy to, but we know he saw all of his memories with Lucida. So he definitely would have seen this conversation as well. And even though Asta's not the smartest guy in the series by far, I feel like he's smart enough that if you looked at Lucida through Leave's eyes and saw the resemblance between him and her that's very clear, I feel like he would have been able to put two and two together and say, hey, this woman's probably my mom. But I don't know, that's just me. I personally feel like at this point Asta definitely is aware of the fact that Lucida is his mom and that Leave is definitely his adopted brother, which also makes the next part of the chapter that corresponds with the ending of the flashback hit harder when it comes to the fact that once Lucifer lands that punch on Asta and Asta just kind of tanks it, Lucifer finally remembers back to when Lucida stopped him from taking over Lee's body and manifesting in the human world 17 years ago, or however many years ago it was at that point. And this is the moment when that kind of connects in his mind, which by the way, this confirms that Lucifer was in fact the devil that actually was trying to take over Lee's body back then. There was some debate in the fandom whether or not that actually was Lucifer, since he didn't remember Lee when they first confronted him about that. But I love this moment right here because in this moment when Asta is tanking the punch from Lucifero, and Lucifero recognizes the fact that he is most likely Lucida's son, he says, "That worthless bitch who got in my way, you're her." And then you can see in the panel before he even gets to finish that sentence, the rage on Asta's face by him even saying those words. So I mean, yeah, it could be that he's upset because he's calling the mother of his friend and partner, worthless bitch, but more than likely, in my opinion, this is Asta, after realizing that Lucida is his mother, that she's actually a member of his family, that he's getting upset by Lucifer disrespecting her, which he was already upset by the fact that she was killed by him. So that's basically just adding fuel to the fire. Before he can even finish the sentence, Asta slices off another one of his horns and just goes in for another attack. I believe he ends up cutting off Lucifer's left arm first. He ends up cutting off both his arms in this chapter anyway, so it doesn't matter. But he cuts it off and he tells Lucifer that the only person in this fight or in the world that's worthless right now is him. And then we end the fight with Asta basically first cutting Lucifer diagonally down the chest and then horizontally across the chest. Now, we don't see him in this moment cutting his heart, so we can definitely say that Lucifer is not dead just yet, because obviously you have to destroy the heart before you can kill a devil, especially a high-ranking devil like this. And since the heart was not damaged, he's not going to die. More than likely, Lucifer, as we already know from Zagred, that devils can move their heart to different parts of their bodies. So more than likely he put it somewhere else. But yeah, the fight is officially over now. The devil unit that Asta and Leap have has now finally ended. The two of them are split in this chapter, and we actually get to see a nice shot of the two of them on the final page where they're both looking over Lucifer, whose body is just in pieces at this point, and basically saying that they'll be the ones to live going forward. Now, what's kind of cool about the shot, and I never saw this before, I'm not sure if we already had seen this on Lee's body as well, but when you look at the two of them, we can see that the devil arm that Asta gave up to Leeb back before the two of them made their original or their official contract, we can see that the marks on it have changed. Like, there's not all the marks that used to be on there anymore. There's only one mark on like the shoulder, and now Lieb has a double arm that has the rest of the marks on it. So I'm wondering if this is a byproduct of them now becoming kind of like more in unison with each other, like they're kind of more of the same person than being two separate beings when they activate their double union. So I wonder if this is a byproduct of that, or if maybe this might have been an art mistake by Tabata. I'm not sure. Also, I didn't notice this while the two of them actually had the double union active, but it looks like Asta's headband, I thought it originally kind of like ripped off or something since he grew that fifth horn, but it looks like it just moved down to his neck, so he still has it, which is actually kind of cool. Now, that's all that happened in the chapter. There's not really much else to go over unless we want to sit here and basically dissect every single panel of action in the chapter. But one thing I do want to talk about in the video before I end it is what's going to happen going forward, because this, in my opinion, is definitely the official end of the fight. There's no way Lucifer is getting back up from this fight right now, because if he does, then there's no one to stop him. Asta can't go back into his double union as far as we're aware for another 30 minutes, and he doesn't have the cheat of having Mimosa heal him and basically regaining that time frame like he did back during the fight against the Gred, when he could kind of just like heal himself enough to use his dark mode over and over again. He can't do that right now because no healer is up that could heal him to the point where he could do that. So definitely the fight is over, because if Asta can't beat him, then no one can beat him. I mean, as much as I love Yami and Mario Leona, and I consider the two of them to be still the strongest characters that we have in the series, maybe just behind Asta when he's in his double union, it's already been proven that neither one of these characters can defeat Lucifer by themselves. Now, maybe together, I might give them a slight chance of defeating him, but only if Mario Leona can find a way to overcome the side effect of her Hellfire Incarnate, where if she fights for too long, her body will start to turn into actual mana itself. Now, that being said, we could see literally everyone who's currently there getting up with them and basically gang piling on Lucifero and trying to defeat him that way. And I think potentially with everyone there, if they could find a way to bypass his gravity magic that's keeping him down, maybe they could defeat him. But at this point, I think Tabata is ready to end the arc. I mean, we've been going on. This is the longest arc Black Clover has ever had. Definitely a lot longer than the Elford's Wrestling arc and the Zagred fight. This has been going on for way too long. It's been over 2 years now. Like, if you consider everything from the first chapter post the time skip to now to be a part of the Space Kingdom arc, then it's definitely been going on for way too long now, and it's time for it to end. Now, going forward, what I think is going to end up happening in the next chapter is that we're going to see the second Gate Devil, whose name is always escaping me for some reason when I'm doing a review, and I don't want to sit here and kind of look it up on camera, but we're most likely going to see him step in and save Lucifero. And basically, maybe he might knock around Asta and Lieb a little bit, just to kind of show a hint at what he can do. And then after they escape, maybe we'll have like 3 or so chapters of epilogue to kind of like end this arc. That's personally what I think is most likely going to end up happening. Now, what could also end up happening, and I think it will be a lot more exciting and a lot, more of a surprise if it actually ends up happening and going this route. But I think Tabata could actually introduce the idea that maybe the second Gate Devil is actually the main villain of the series, or at least the next major villain that they're going to be going up against, by basically having him go to the battlefield, again, knock around Lieb and Asta a little bit because they can't really do anything against him right now, and basically just taking Lucifero's heart because he's in this weakened state, and absorbing his power, like doing something to take Lucifero's power for himself, and then he can go forward to be the main villain that they're going to be going up against for the future parts of the series, for future arcs. Now, the only problem I have with that, and it's really kind of the same problem that my original theory has as well, is that at this point, still there's no one, unless, I mean, he's a second Gate Devil, so maybe he's not that powerful. Maybe some of the other characters, if they got back up, they could actually stand a chance against him. But at this point, since everyone's so beaten up and no one can move right now, there's nothing stopping him if he really wants to kill these people from doing it. But then again, he does seem like the kind of character who's more interested in being entertained than actually, having an evil plot and actually trying to rule the world. So this is why I can see actually working for either one of my theories, either him saving Lucifero or him taking Lucifero's powers. We could see that, the reason why he decides not to kill any of them right now is because he was so entertained by the fight between Asta and Lucifero that he wants to see that fight continue, or he wants to see a second part of that fight when Asta's a lot stronger, because then it will be a lot more entertaining. But anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what Tabata decides to do to end this arc in the next chapter. Anyway guys, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. If you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. Come visit me on my live streams, hit that notification bell so you can know when I go live. I don't have a set schedule just yet because my work schedule is always changing, but when I go live, I'll try to put out like a community post when I'm planning on doing it that night ahead of time so you guys can know about it. But anyway guys, let me know what you guys think about the chapter in the comment section down below. That's it for the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.